Welcome to all who gather here. Tonight, we explore more of the damned and undead. Join me and enjoy these two tales that I found just laying around. After dark. The music was loud, with a very macabre tone to it. The lights were dim with flashing lights on the stage areas, where many people were dancing the night away. The waitress asked if I wanted an alcohol beverage to drink. I told her some whiskey, just to get her to stop bothering me. My kind can drink liquids. They just have no taste to them. I give her a large tip and told her not to disturb me anymore tonight. Taking my tip, she leaves me alone as I sipped the tasteless beverage. My dark hair, goatee, and clothes would make a goth girl's dream come true. I wear some fragrance to attract my mark. I really do have a scent, but humans cannot tell. A supernatural predator could detect it and determine what I am. Most of us tend to avoid each other, especially on our hunting grounds. I have met some psychic vampires, although they have no effect on my kind. I would not even consider them a meal, more a nuisance. My vision and powers are greatest at night, although I can walk during the day. That is just a nasty rumor to tell children along with other bedtime stories. I was born this way, not bitten like many others. I died upon my birthday and was reborn into this form I am now. Have you guessed my nature yet? It is not what you think it is, I assure you. Not all is as it seems. Petite, Asian nationality, attractive, with fiery red hair, catches my attention. Her and some friends, I assume, ladies out on the town. I have watched her for an hour, hidden at my table in the darkest part of the club. The three are laughing, ordering some colorful drinks, and watching every man that walks past. Somehow she seems different from her companions. Perhaps she's not what she seems to be. I casually make my way over. My 6-foot frame and dark clothes hide a pale and muscular frame. My accent is a thick one, and some even consider it exotic. I walk past them, drink in my hand. My movements are fluid, almost graceful to watch. I sit at the bar, not far from them. I do not look at her, except for a split second. Her scent had changed when I walked by. While I can hear them whisper about the way I'm dressed, my hearing is very keen as I listen from the other end of the bar. They speak more, and how the one I desire explains how she would love to meet a man like me. I walk toward them and ask if anyone would care for a dance. I use my most charming smile and composure as her hand reached for mine. Yes was the answer. It sprang from her lips as she smiled with black lipstick upon them. Her hand in mine, we walked toward the dance floor together. Graceful for a human, we enjoyed the band singing. She was my mark, but I think less of food now. She has a dark look about her. Her hair the darkest red, and those lips beckoning me, calling for mine to touch them. The dress was even black, with crimson laced on the edges. She wore a strange necklace. It even seemed to glimmer in the light. I could smell the liquor on her breath as she smiled at me. We danced. We danced until her friends finally came to get her. They mentioned the time was late, and I assured them I would see her home safely. No doubt my mark wished to stay, and one of her friends did not mind. The other one, seeing how it was a losing battle, decided to leave her behind. The goth beauty hailed from Japan, and her family had strict moral ideals. Her charm was almost as pleasant as mine, but I had years of perfecting my style. We laughed, danced, and she drank more than me. She informed me that she was to meet a dark stranger this week, someone to share her adventures with. I cannot blush, although the honor was mine. The hour was indeed late, and the bar closed. So we walked hand in hand into the dark night. Her smile was stunning, even seen in the darkest of nights. She still appeared human, but something not human was what she really was. This intrigued me more, and I felt I did not want to feed from her. The hunger we possess is an all-consuming one. Our host rarely survive. However, the hunger can only wait so long. Then we become obsessed with it. Like a rabid animal, we have no choice but to feed. Lucky for us, we were in a less hospitable part of town. And someone else may indeed be unlucky tonight. There were men hiding up ahead, their scent calling to me through the cool night air. These were bad men with blood on them and their weapons. I smiled, but told her I was not what I seemed to be. She flashed me the most beautiful smile, saying it was okay. We all have surprises that come out in the dark. She could accept mine. Can I accept hers? Intriguing. We found the men, and they threatened us, as I knew they would. Wanting what valuables I had, with a promise for a safe night. I do not usually show my nature, but the hunger was too great. I was thirsty. So thirsty. It had been several hours since I last fed, and I could not contain myself anymore. In a flash of speed, I had one by the neck, enjoying the oh so delicious cocktail he had inside him. Another man attacked me, but I held him at bay until I was done with his friend. Then I dined upon his blood as well. I turned to see my gothic beauty, but she was gone. For a moment, I saw a fox with two tails, and then she was back. The man lay dead at her feet, his own knife buried deep into his neck. Such precious blood. What a waste. She was the first to ask me what I am. She knew I wasn't human, but was still very charming. I told her that 2 centuries ago, I fell for the fatal kiss of a vampire, her dark beauty condemning my life for all eternity. Since that night, I have drained those that I seek, charming my way into their life and draining them dry. She had heard of beings like me in her ancestors' home. She was a creature called a kitsune, a fox that shapeshifts, magical and centuries old. She had roamed the land, trying to find one to share her life with. No disease would affect her, and she cared not for my need of blood. Smiling, we took each other's hand and walked into the night. Two damned creatures, shunned by man, we have found each other's company. And being both immortal, we would never die or become separated from this point on. Too evil to die. It started with mice and rats. Not only the kill, but also the defilement of the body. Later, the hunger took on larger animals. Cats and dogs were butchered in the name of his experiments. Dark magic was discovered and used upon his victims. Every part of the animal used for divination, even the inner organs and the intestines. Macabre practices as the smell of death lingered about. Demonology, witchcraft, devil worship, even the Necronomicon. No spell was off limits to discover the truth. This boy grew to a man. He inherited a place in the deep forest, a place of solitude where he could walk with his obsession. He trapped and slaughtered larger prey, but longed for the one he most desired, human. The darkness that crept into his soul long ago now consumed it. Anyone found in his forest would meet a horrible end. Torture ensured the victim's senses would be more receptive. With their senses fully opened, it was believed they would produce more dark energy in his rituals. Nothing was beyond his desires or torture methods. Rape, cannibalism, and many unspeakable monstrosities were in his reach and reasoning. The art is called necromancy. It is a study of divination through death. The power comes from death and the dying. It has always been associated with dark and often forbidden energy. The necromancer would spend his life looking for the secret of immortality. To return as one of the undead would open endless possibilities. He still used the dark practice for divination, but now he dove deeper into death and despair. Not only was his soul more tainted, but now his sanity was slipping away. An occasional lost person was not enough anymore. He simply needed more bodies, more people to experiment on, as he searched for the secret of unlocking the human soul. He would go to town and promised those without homes a refuge, free from prying eyes and police that never gave them a moment to rest. Empty promises, for those people would never be seen alive again. His grave mistake was a young girl who ran away. Her father happened to be the chief of police, and he was not happy when his only child went missing. A policeman on patrol noticed the man talking and leaving with the homeless. The officer called his concerns in, and the chief agreed it was strange behavior. Of course, the chief was concerned his daughter may have fallen victim. Several officers followed the strange man into his woodland home. The smell of decayed and burnt flesh was extremely strong, even overpowering. The men split into two groups, one for the front and one for the rear of the cabin. Yelling police, the front door was forced open. The necromancer turned as the back door was now open. The man was no match for several armed police officers, as he was cuffed and he read his rights. A search discovered the remains of the chief's daughter. She had been raped, butchered, and half skinned. You could say filleted like a fish. Countless others were found, all dead, tortured and butchered. The chief was not thrilled about the news. Beaten, the sorcerer only laughed. He had found the secret he longed for. Let death come. He screamed defiantly as he laughed and laughed until he was forced to be quiet. He was escorted to jail. Then the sorcerer removed his own handcuffs and grabbed the officer closest to him. Grabbing the weapon, he pointed toward the policeman. The man had no time to speak, as he fell in a pool of his own blood. The officers wasted no time in using lethal force. Strangely, though, as he breathed his last breath, the dark mage had a smile on his face. The body was never burned, as the mortician had fallen to a strange and unknown disease. The pestilence was lethal, and the poor man never spoke again. It was aggressive and unknown, as it took the man's life before he could even get out of the hospital room. The necromancer's body was never found, although his handprints did match those found on the mortician's neck. A single note remained. It simply said, you cannot kill the dead. I hope you enjoy these tales. They are not true. Simply fiction. If you did enjoy them, do the channel a small favor and subscribe, like, and of course hit the notification bell if you wish to be informed when I make new videos. Until next week, beware of the Shadowlands.